Hello, my name is Kevin Downs, and on this episode of Nerd Bytes, we're going to cover proactive infrastructure monitoring with New Relic. As a DevOps, SRE, or IT ops person, I'm going to look to New Relic to help me proactively troubleshoot my IT infrastructure. I have New Relic 1 open, focused on Explorer, where I'm looking at all my favorites. I usually like to start with a high-level view of my applications, so let's go to Lookout and see what we can find. Let's select Services, APM, where we're presented, with throughput, response time, and errors for all of the applications that we're monitoring. I see that the web portal application has the largest circle for both throughput and errors. Mousing over these two circles gives me a little peek into what's going on with that application. Well, Lookout isn't showing me anything that I need to focus on, so let's dive into the infrastructure and see what we can find there and get proactive. Switching over to the list view and selecting all my hosts gives me the ability to start looking for places where I can improve my infrastructure. Let's start by using the top filter bar to focus on one specific application. In this case, the web portal application that we looked at earlier. I noticed right away that one of my hosts has a storage usage of 100%. Let's sort these hosts by storage usage. Next, let's select and view all of these hosts so we can analyze more about them. Here we can see all the selected hosts and their golden signals on a graph comparing each other. By moving our mouse over each host, we see not only the related entities on the right-hand side, but that host-specific golden signal highlighted within the center column. We can also change the golden signal referenced on the left-hand side. So let's show these hosts with their storage usage percentage. The infrastructure interface also offers a lot of in-context actions that you can look at. Selecting the View Logs button will bring you to only the logs for that specific host. Mousing over the icon all the way on the left-hand side will let you know if this host is in an alerting state. Each host is also color-coded as represented by the colored dot. This is also the color for the bar graph in each golden signal chart. Next, let's take a look at AutoMap and check out the topology for this specific host. AutoMap shows us the related entities to this host. Here we can see that this host is connected to the web portal, as well as the inventory, login, and fulfillment services. In the upper left, we can see the health status, as well as anomalies, that we can turn on or off as needed. The key also shows us which one are services and which ones are hosts, as well as how relationships are depicted for the host or the calls. On the right-hand side are more details about this specific host, from any activity, to the tags, to the golden signal metrics for this host. Now let's focus our attention to the time warp control in the upper middle. This control represents a 3-hour window where we can scrub back and forth to find out when and what had issues. We can see that an anomaly started around 10:07 a.m. and about 7 minutes later, it went into a critical state. Let's move to the right and check out that second health status grouping. This time, we see that it's the fulfillment service that's having an issue around 11:11 a.m. So let's mouse over that service and select it to bring up its details on the right-hand side. Here we can see that an anomaly was detected and the error rate is much different than normal. Let's go back to the main Infrastructure Explorer list view and see if we can be proactive in a different way. Let's reset our table and clear out that web portal filter. Now I'm back to a list that contains all 78 of my hosts. Let's see if we can find any underutilized hosts that we can right-size and or consolidate. I'm going to filter the CPU usage golden signal column for any hosts that have a CPU less than 1%. This reduces the number of hosts down to 6. From here, I'm going to select the bottom 3 and find out what services or components these hosts are related to. Viewing these selected hosts shows that all 3 of these hosts are related to the login and web portal services. More than likely, my auto scale group is using instances that are very underutilized and would be a good place to make sure that I'm not launching instances that are overpowered for my needs. Let's switch gears and go back and reset the table. This time, let's focus on memory utilization. Let's filter all the instances for any ones that have a greater than 80% memory utilization. This leaves us with 4 hosts. But if you look carefully, you'll notice that only 2 hosts that have a CPU utilization below 20%. So let's select those 2 and see what we can find. We see that each one of these hosts is related to a different entity, Proxy East or Proxy West. Proxy East is showing a critical severity. In any case, finding hosts that have a high memory utilization might be a case where you can look at the instance being launched and make sure that it's a memory optimized instance. I hope you've enjoyed this walkthrough of the infrastructure monitoring user interface. Look for other Nerd Bytes videos from New Relic.